Hello once again, indie game fans. Welcome back to I Dream of Indie, your number one source for all the latest indie game reviews and previews. My name's OldGamer Joe, and if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button below. It helps us to bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. Today we are reviewing Thunderflash on the PlayStation 4, developed by Seep and published by Ratalaika Games. This title is also available on the Xbox platform and the Nintendo Switch. It's normally priced at $4.99 here in North America. The Xbox and Switch versions do have a bit of a discount at the time of this review, bringing those two down to $3.99, no such discount on PlayStation. Thunderflash is a top-down action arcade shooter very reminiscent of classics such as Ikari Warriors, Operation Wolf, and even a pinch of the Metal Slug franchise thrown in for good measure. You'll play as either Rock or Stan, members of Team Thunderflash, as you try to take down the evil criminal organization known as Bloody Wolf. This will take you through 5 different missions, shooting down enemies, destroying barrels, and launching rockets at giant mechanical bosses. Being a classic arcade-style game, there's really not a lot to the controls here. You can press the square button to launch rockets, you have a limited supply of these, and you hold down the X button to fire away. You can enjoy this game in co-op locally if you so wish as well, and a lot of it is simply scrolling forward, defeating enemies, collecting power-ups, and going along defeating bosses. I know I mentioned that there are 5 missions, but it's not like there's 5 levels per se. These missions are actually broken up into smaller segments, and you can actually choose level select if you happen to die, and you have plenty of credits anyways, so on the normal default settings, this game's not really all that challenging, but thankfully there is an expert mode, and you can limit the amount of credits if you so wish if you want to up the challenge. Upon completing your first initial arcade run, you do unlock a boss rush mode, which is just what it sounds like. You can take down bosses in succession, and then there's also a survival mode, which is a little bit different from the arcade mode, and again, obviously, you're trying to survive waves of enemies for as long as possible. Honestly, Thunderflash was the kind of brainless arcade fun I was looking for at the moment, a game that I didn't have to spend a ton of time with, or I don't really need to break down and dissect too much. It kind of is what it is. It plays pretty well, it feels like a classic arcade game, and there's no real surprises here. It took about 45 minutes to an hour to do that initial playthrough, which I did with Silent Signs, and we had a really good time just going through it, making different jokes along the way, like when she talked about these sandbags looking like pizza rolls and this boss looking like one of the bosses from Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, but that's part of the fun with these games, the social interaction that you have with someone while you're playing them. So yeah, basically this is a turn your brain off style arcade romp, and it's a whole lot of fun. Of course, in typical Ratalaika fashion, it's really easy to pop the Platinum Trophy as well. You'll get it in maybe a little bit over one playthrough, so if you're into trophy hunting, there you go, an easy Platinum. Graphically, there's also really no surprises with Thunderflash. It looks like a game of that era, and I happen to like that look quite a bit. The pixel art is well done here, and I really like the portraits on the side of your screen. Reminded me of Street Fighter 2. As you take damage in this game, you'll get bloodier and bloodier, so I thought that was a nice little visual touch. Enemy designs are a little repetitive, but they work fine enough, and I think that the bosses all look pretty cool. I also liked, and I guess this is kind of doubling back to the gameplay, but how the levels would switch up things from time to time. So for example, you might be riding a bike in one level, you might be on a boat. Nice little touches like that. Again, a great throwback to arcade-style gameplay. The soundtrack in this game is pretty good as well. I enjoyed it for the most part. I couldn't hear all of the tracks as well as I would have liked, and I didn't seem to find a way to adjust the volume, so you're kind of at the mercy of some really loud sound effects here, but still, that works in an arcade-style setting, not so much when you're playing on your TV at home. But alas, the tracks that I could hear were pretty good, and I really like the announcer in this game, which is reminiscent of, again, Metal Slug quite a bit. So yeah, pretty decent sound design here outside of the mix being a bit off, and the visual presentation was entertaining. Obviously, this goes without saying, Thunderflash isn't going to win any Game of the Year awards, but it is a nice reminder of the great arcade games of the past. Particularly if you're a fan of Ikari Warriors, I think you should check this one out. It's really entertaining, good fun with a co-op partner if you can get one, but still fun on your own if you want to go through it solo. The expert mode does add a little bit of an added challenge. There are trophies to earn, which are quite easily obtained. Yeah, the sound's not bad, the graphics are alright. I like this one. Good, simple fun. Check out Thunderflash if you are into this style of game.
Great!
Thanks so much for watching the latest review from I Dream of Indie. We appreciate you greatly. We'd now like to take a moment to shout out our great indie warriors who support us through channel memberships: Mitchell Hall, Kevalo Bunny, Bill Tikaz, Christian Cruz, Wesley William Semple, Kimberly H., Rosie Syntax, and Chris Jackson. Thank you for all you do for indie games. It really means the world to us and to all the developers and publishers out there. Everybody else should head down to the description box below where there's a ton of ways to support us. However you end up doing so, it means the world. We thank you so much.